Well, 2020 presented the world and us right here at home with challenges, innovations, and surprises. We wanted to take a look at the highs and lows of the year through Fort Wayne Mayor Tom Henry's eyes. Fort Wayne's NBC reporter Corinne Rose has our feature story tonight.
Challenging.
That's how Fort Wayne Mayor Tom Henry sums up 2020. The year brought the world and its economies to their knees because of the novel coronavirus known as COVID-19. To help curb the spread of the disease, this spring, Mayor Henry followed statewide orders to close restaurants, bars, and gyms, which are still under capacity restrictions. And the local economy took a hit as people lost their service industry and other jobs, and local businesses closed for good.
The cumulative effect of the loss of financial contribution to our community was in the millions and millions of dollars. The hospitality entertainment industry itself, which was probably the hardest hit, I know experienced just a devastating loss.
More than 27,500 people in Allen County alone have tested positive for the virus, while at least 483 of them have died. However, this year also saw huge advances in biotechnology, with pharmaceutical companies racing to produce vaccines to help end the pandemic. Now that the federal government has authorized the emergency use of 2 of them, local hospitals have been vaccinating frontline workers, and nursing home residents and staff are beginning to receive them as well. Henry says the city's first responders will be in the next phase of vaccinations, but says he and other city employees will be farther down the list.
I asked them about politicians, and they said, well, you're going to be last. So I do not expect to be in the first several levels, nor do I want to be. I think there are a number of individuals who should be taken care of as far as the vaccine before I step up.
At the end of May, Black Lives Matter protests erupted across the country and in Fort Wayne after George Floyd was killed by white police officers in Minneapolis. At the beginning, thousands of people stormed downtown, blocking traffic and vandalizing buildings, prompting city and county police to use tear gas to disperse the crowd. Several days later, the mayor, police chief, and others walked across the Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge in a show of solidarity, and a special commission was formed to look at policing practices in the Summit City. Henry says he will meet with members to hear their recommendations, and adds that the community as a whole rejected the rioters and their behavior.
The next morning, I and some of my staff actually walked downtown, and citizens were out there already scrubbing off graffiti. They were picking up broken glass. And these were not the business owners. These were just citizens from our community who actually said to me as I was walking down the sidewalk, Mayor, this isn't Fort Wayne.
Development across the city seemed to slow throughout the year, and the $280 million Electric Works project at the former General Electric campus hit a few financing stumbling blocks. That put into question whether the headquarters of Do It Best Corporation and hundreds of good-paying jobs would actually become the facility's anchor tenant or move elsewhere in the country. Local business leaders paid for a study that found losing Do It Best would cost Allen County the equivalent of more than 830 jobs and more than $117 million annually for the local economy. Mayor Henry says he hopes the Electric Works project will come to fruition, with construction to be done in the next 2 to 3 years.
They've told us that they were going to be closing by the end of this year, which isn't like another day or two. And I'm assuming everything is fine.
In the coming year, he expects to remain aggressive about more downtown development and fighting COVID, saying he anticipates it will be this time next year before the country feels comfortable not wearing masks. Corinne Rose, Fort Wayne's NBC.